All right. Welcome everybody to the Bottom Line Live. We're doing this a little bit early today, but normally we are 7 p.m. Eastern. We were wanting to have John Jack back. I know we had technical difficulties on our last webinar where the internet stopped working, so that was fun. We're probably going to be able to get him back next week in case anybody is wondering. So this week we're going to talk about you filed your taxes. Now what? Today is tax filing extension deadline for S Corps, and it's been a crazy day for anyone in the tax industry, bookkeeping, probably a lot of business owners who are doing their final things, and running to the post office, and lots of fun like that. I think we got all ours done. Hopefully everyone is happy. If you have an S corporation and you have not filed, you will be late today. So you have to get it if your post office is closed. If you're e-filing, maybe you still have time, but today is it. And I don't know what time the cutoff is because I'm not filing any taxes today, but keep that in mind. Today is the day. If you were filing a C corporation or a sole prop or an LLC tax as a sole prop, you have until October 15, which I realize falls on a weekend this year. So I think you have until the 17th actually. Now, if you have not done any bookkeeping for a while, and you haven't been able to file your taxes, I would say, they're not going to be on time, obviously, because you're going to be late, and maybe you have a couple of years late. If you're in that situation, definitely come to us now. We can help you do the catch up. I just want to say we're about to raise prices. So the next 2 weeks are going to be the most cost-effective time to come and get started because we are going to raise prices for the next tax season. Keep that in mind. I've told some of you that, not all of you. So you have filed your taxes. 2021 is done. A lot of you went through sitting in a closet with a box of receipts and your computer and your bank statements, and it was very stressful, and you finally got it done, and you never want to do that again. And you say that to yourself every year. So what are you going to do now? All right. So if you haven't started bookkeeping for 2022, we are almost at the end of the year. I know it still feels like summer in most places, but we are at the end of the year. So you definitely want to come in now to get your 2022 started so that by the time you have to file taxes for 2022, like maybe even by March next year, it's all finished. It should be finished within a few weeks, but like sometimes we need statements and things drag out or whatever. So imagine, if you will, imagine this. Imagine that you send your CPA your completed books by March 2023, and they don't have to file an extension. Or if they do, it's just because they couldn't get to it on time and it is done by June. And you don't have to stress out about it. And you don't have to go through a box of receipts and statements and your whole life flashing before your eyes for 3 days. And there is no one that can tell me that they haven't done that, because we've all done that. I've done that. And going through your box of receipts and going through your bank statements, trying to find all the business expenses. Oh, what about that trip that I took? Was that a business trip? Well, okay, let me find the receipt for it. And how many times have you said to yourself, I'm never doing this again? Okay, so let's stick to that tax resolution, that new tax year resolution, and never do it again, and get a bookkeeper. It doesn't have to be my company, really. If you know other bookkeepers that are good bookkeepers, 100%, we can't even take on everybody. So go get a bookkeeper and don't do this to yourself again, please. A business owner's time is worth tens of thousands of dollars an hour in potential income. And you just spent 3 days with a box of receipts and bank statements and some strong coffee and maybe something stronger. You lost so much money in those 3 days. Not only that, your peace of mind. It's stressful. We know it's stressful. The IRS is stressful. Not only are, is it tax season, they also are releasing 87,000 new IRS auditors into the world. And that means that we're 87,000 more people likely to get audited. So how confident are you on your books? How confident are you on your bookkeeping? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do different this time than what you've done every year? And if you have a good bookkeeper and you have bookkeeping happening, then I am proud of you. I don't even know another way to say it, because you're not in the majority. There are so many. The US is made up. The businesses in the US are mostly small businesses. And most small businesses are, one guy with a few employees. And he started that business because he knew how to fix houses. Or he started that business because he liked helping people with their marketing. Nobody told you, nobody warned you that you were then going to get given a bunch of notices from the IRS, and that every time you hired a new employee and you just thought, oh, great, they're in, Minnesota, great. You didn't know you were going to have to do a payroll tax registration each time. You didn't know that you were going to have to keep books and that you were going to have to pay someone to do that for you. Nobody told you. I know, nobody told me either. But here we are. And you guys, the business owners, the small business owners, are the majority of the businesses in the US. Obviously, you've got Microsoft and you've got Apple and you've got Google and Intuit. And there's huge companies like that, and Walmart, right, that exist, that hire so many people. But regardless, a majority of businesses in the US, because there's not that many of those giant conglomerate ones, right? A majority of businesses in the US are small businesses. They're me and you and your friend Bill down the street that sells, copper sketching on old pipes on Etsy. I don't know, whatever, right? Everybody does different things. But almost all of you that I talk to are small business owners. So let's make this year the year that we really never do that again and get some bookkeeping. And if your company is tiny, 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 and you just started and you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, reach out. Minimally, I can do a consultation. I can help you get organized. Step A, B, C, D, E, here's what you do. I can teach you how to use your QuickBooks. Just what you need to know for your company, not for becoming a bookkeeper, because we don't want you to become a bookkeeper, because that's not why you started your business. If you want to become a bookkeeper, absolutely become a bookkeeper. I'm hiring. I'm always looking for good bookkeepers. But if you started your business to do something other than be a bookkeeper, then I suggest that you aren't ready to hire someone to do it for you yet because you just started or you're too small still. I suggest you get some training, and we just teach you very simply the very basics of how to do it so you can do it. If you are like some small business owners I know, and you're making $500,000, $700,000 a year and you still don't have a bookkeeper, come on. It is a worthy investment of your money to save yourself from the time, the hassle, and to give yourself the peace of mind to have somebody else do it for you. And I'm not doing this as a sales pitch because this is a webinar. I'm really, I don't care if you come to me, you go to somebody else, but I'm just saying, small business owners of America, rise up. Get your books right. Now is the time to get your books right, because we've got 87,000 more IRS auditors coming on the scene. It's the end of a tax season. You were stressed out about it. Let's not be stressed out anymore. Let's get rid of that stress so we can do the important things. We can build our business. We can 10x. We can grow. We can hire people. We can help the US economy. We're not worried about the taxes and the receipts and the statements. Like, let somebody else help you with that. My mission statement for my company is complete and perfect financial records for your peace of mind. I am selling peace of mind. I hate being stressed out about business. If somebody sells me peace of mind and they go, you see that problem that you have? I can handle that for you. All you have to do is give me a little bit of money. I give them money. I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you. I was, you can fix my leaking toilet. Great. I don't know how to do that. You can, you can do my marketing campaign. You can shoot a new commercial for me. Great. Because I don't know how to do that. I don't even know what to say. I just come on here and tell you why all y'all need bookkeeping. So I know how important it is because I am a small business owner. I know how valuable it is when someone comes to you and says, that problem that you have, I can help you. So, and taxes is a problem everybody has. It's a thorn in everybody's side. So let's let someone help you. And it doesn't have to be me, but there's a lot of good bookkeepers. And I've done a lot of webinars on how you can tell if it's a good bookkeeper or not. But get one of them to help you. And if you want me to help you, absolutely, I will help you. You can reach out, my email, you can comment on this Facebook Live, you can comment in the Zoom. My website, solvencynow.com. You can email me, maya@solvencynow.com. Okay, and now that I've given you my earnest appeal for let someone help you, let me talk to you about what are the types of things you should be doing. So what did your CPA ask you for when you gave them the paperwork? Other than the long, organizer that they had you fill out, they wanted a profit and loss report or a statement, and they wanted a balance sheet. So what are those things? We've gone over that before, but let's just go over it again from the point of view of that's what you need for taxes. So your balance sheet shows the balances in all of your accounts, right? So it shows what's in your bank accounts, what you owe on your loans currently, what you have as a balance on your assets. If you own property, like what's the value of the property, and then what's left in the company. So that's something that the CPA needs to do your taxes. And that's something that you need in order to manage correctly. What else do you need? The profit and loss statement. What does that show? That shows exactly what it sounds. It shows all the profit that comes, all the income that comes into your company on the top, all the expenses, the cost of goods, the payroll, everything, and then what is the profit on the bottom. And you need that. One, you need that to manage your company, but two, you need it to file your taxes at the end of the year. So the CPA needs that. What else do you need? As a business owner, as an individual, things to keep track of. Medical expenses. They're not necessarily business expenses, but they are deductible on a certain, income level on your personal taxes. Also, if your business pays for your health insurance, that's a tax deduction. As long as you're also paying for any employees' health insurance, things like that. So you need to keep track of all of those expenses because they're all going to help on your taxes. What else? Donations. A lot of small business owners, like I said, help the economy. A lot of small business owners are making donations as much as they can. Keep track of all those. It is not deductible on your business side, generally, depending on how you do it, but definitely on the personal side. So you want to keep track of all those because that'll lower your taxable income. What else? Home office expenses. We need to know if you have a dedicated space that you work out of, that is a tax deduction. So you need to keep track of that. And when we say home office, we mean a portion of the rent, the mortgage. Let's say you have security for the property. Let's say you have maintenance for the property, utilities for the property. A portion of all of that, the home office percentage, is all tax deductible. So keep track of that. Those are the things that you need on top of, just the regular business expenses that you need to keep track of. What are other things you should keep track of as an individual? If you have any assets that made or lost money, if you have any loans that you paid interest on, keep track of all that. Those of you who have secret accounts and you have different investments you're doing, keep track of any profit, any loans in there. So keep track of the interest that you pay because that could be tax deductible depending. What isn't tax deductible would be life insurance premium payments. That's not tax deductible on anything. It's not on your personal or your business. So fine. But health insurance is. And if you have health, dental, whatever, that's all deductible. So keep track of all that. What is the next thing after that that you should be looking at? So again, we are at the end of the year. So I am going to start talking about 1099s a lot again, like I did last year. So who should get a 1099? Basically, anytime you pay a vendor, you should ask them for a W-9. A W-9 is a piece of paper, or it could be digital, that has their legal name, address, tax ID, or social security number, and what is their form of their company, so you know whether they get a 1099 or not. So you should just ask every vendor that you pay for that. Obviously not like Starbucks or grocery stores, you know, but any person, company that you're paying, get a W-9 from them, and get the W-9 before you pay them. If you haven't been doing that all year because you didn't listen to me when I said it last year, do it now. Go through, find out who have you paid, send them a W-9, have them fill it out. What else is that going to help you with? When the 1099s are due, which is January 31st, unless they change it again this year, maybe they'll make it January 1st just for fun, but hopefully not. So when the 1099s are due, it's going to be real easy for you if you have all the W-9s. Whether you're doing it yourself or you're going to hire someone to do it for you, you need those W-9s. And sometimes it takes a while to get people to send them to you. So you don't want to wait until January 25th because you might give someone a heart attack. It might be me. I don't know who it'll be, but somebody. So you want to get those now so you're prepared because you need those for taxes. The CPA did ask probably all of the 1099s that you sent out. They also might ask for all of your payroll records. Again, this is something we've gone over before, but if you are an S corporation owner, you have to be on payroll. This is a legal point. If you are not on payroll, the IRS is much more likely to audit you. So you need to be on payroll. How much payroll do you have to be on? Generally, as a small business owner, it's going to be about 50% of profit. That doesn't always work. I have small business owners who made $3 million in profit. They're obviously not going to pay themselves $1.5 million payroll because that would be ridiculous. So it has to be a reasonable salary. If you had 100,000 profit, you could pay yourself 50,000 in salary, and that would make sense. If you had a 3 million profit, you're probably not going to pay yourself that. You're going to pay yourself what is a reasonable salary. So someone that you hired to do your job, maybe, 100,000, 150,000, 200,000. What is a reasonable salary in that case? So there can be compensation studies done. You can figure it out based on looking at, hiring markets, all that. So there's lots of ways to do that, but you have to be on salary. You have to be on payroll. You have to be paying payroll. Now, this is not the same as transferring yourself money from your business account to your personal account and saying, yeah, I paid myself payroll. No, payroll means that you're paying the IRS payroll taxes and you're filing the payroll reports. So if you are not doing that, if you're not paying the taxes and filing the payroll reports, you're not on payroll. You're just sending yourself money. You can call that a distribution. You can call that a draw, whatever you want to call it, but it's not payroll. So as an S Corp owner, you 100% have to get on payroll. If you are not on payroll yet for 2022, and you've been told by your CPA that it's time, or let's say you opened your S Corp in 2021 and you haven't gotten on payroll yet, you got to do it now. We can help you fix it by the end of the year. We'll do some adjustments. We'll take some of the money that you paid yourself out as a transfer, and we'll turn it into payroll and we'll pay taxes on it. But realize that as an employer, okay, let's say as an employee, if you get $1,000 salary, you're probably going to end up with somewhere between $700 to $800 of it. And as an employer, you pay an additional 10%-ish, depending on your state and all that. So it's going to cost you $1,100 to pay yourself $1,000. So keep that in mind, that when you pay yourself $50,000, if you haven't paid the taxes on that all year, that could easily be like 20 grand in taxes. So it's much easier to set it up on time and have it go throughout the year so that the cash flow is there. So we don't come to you at the end of the year and say, okay, send us 20 grand so we can pay the IRS. And you go, but I don't have 20 grand. You need that 20 grand. So it's better to do it throughout the year. Okay, what else? Okay, also, if you are an S Corp owner and you filed your taxes today, or your CPA did, there's a chance they still need to file your personal taxes, and that will be happening by October 17th. Now, as an S Corp owner, you pretty much pay your taxes as pass-throughs. So if you haven't paid any taxes yet up until this point, like my CPA has me pay it with when he files it in March, when he files for the extension, I pay what I owe. Then he said, oh, actually you owe some few more thousands. I had to pay that a week or two ago. So, but if you haven't paid anything, then it's going to be due, and you definitely want to pay it by the October 15 deadline, because you're going to be paying penalties on it at that point because it's late. So those are the important things. Let me see if I have any questions here in Zoom. If anybody does have any questions, definitely feel free to ask. You can put it in the chat. There are no stupid questions. I always answer any questions. So as I said, just put it in the chat, put it in the comments. And if you need help on this and you don't have a bookkeeper, you don't have someone that can help you, reach out to me. Again, like I said, Maya@solvencynow.com, solvencynow.com. Where also you can comment on Facebook, you can message me on Facebook. I'm Maya Weinreb or Solvency Now. I'm under Maya Weinreb on LinkedIn. I'm under Solvency Now on Instagram. And we have a TikTok page with a lot of great tips on it. Some of them come out of these webinars. And so if you want to check that out, it's under Solvency Now Bookkeeping. So I feel relevant now because I have a TikTok page. It is finally going. If anybody wants to check that out. Another thing that I want to say, great, you filed your taxes. Now what? How many of you felt like you paid way too much in taxes and it was painful? I did. Okay, what do we do about that? We do tax planning. How do we do tax planning? First of all, you need bookkeeping. So unfortunately, you don't get to get tax planning without bookkeeping, but you get your bookkeeping all together and we connect you up with our tax planners at Tax Hive, and they will basically get you all organized for, we do tax planning for 2022, we do tax planning for 2023. There's not a lot of tax planning you can do yet, or still for 2022, but there's lots of stuff you can do for 2023. They will tell you all of the ways that you can legally save the most amount of money on taxes. And that, I know, is what we all want, because I don't love paying the IRS taxes. I would rather keep that money in my pocket. I would rather donate it. I would rather pay it to my employees, but I would still owe money if I did that. So there's a point as an entrepreneur where, you know, there's a point as an entrepreneur where there's not a lot of options that you have, because you're not making enough money to do all the cool tax savings, but you're making more money than before where you didn't have to pay a lot of taxes. So it happens. It is what it is. And the solution to that is keep growing, 10x, make more money, do more cool things, and then you'll be able to get better tax planning and do more cool things to save you money on taxes. Because we already know some of these big guys, Grant Cardone, you know, they do blogs and articles and videos about how they're not paying taxes legally because they have a crack team of tax planners and CPAs that help them do that. So obviously they're paying like payroll taxes and stuff, but they're not paying additional taxes. Okay, so we are getting to the end of our webinar. And again, I want to remind you that if you haven't filed your taxes, it's today for S Corps. I apologize if you didn't hear any of my earlier reminders, but make sure you e-file. If you're doing it yourself, I don't know if H&R Block does it, but that's your best bet at this point. And otherwise, your CPA will have done it for you if you gave them all of your information. If you haven't given them your information, you're going to be late and you're going to pay penalties, and that sucks. Either way, if you need any help on your bookkeeping, on tax planning, if you need a referral for a CPA because your last CPA stressed you out too much or your last bookkeeper did, feel free to reach out as well. I really like to help business owners succeed. That's what I'm here for. So thank you all so much for your time. And I will see you again next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern on The Bottom Line Live. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.